the main purpose is to analyze, see what happened, because like if we don't check what we have done right and what we have done wrong, we will not be able to move further in the future election. So it has really helped us to gather information, and I think going forward, I think we only need maybe to present this to the authority and probably to have a radio program too, to ask questions from people at home who are not stakeholders like us, who are just giving us whatever we can.
Also speaking, the representative of INEC, Temitope Akamo, said that the meeting became necessary to evaluate the conduct of the election and look at the best way to correct the lapses observed.
We appreciate this type of exercise because, you know, when you are going on or carrying out a particular process, there is need for you to evaluate what you have done so far so that in subsequent and previous exercise you'll be able to do it better. And that is my major take home from this type of gathering, that we are able to look at our planning for the pre-election, our election activities, and presently now at the post-election. So it is going to spur us and make us to perform better in our previous and subsequent election.
We take a pause here. News stories from the build sector are up next. Stay with us. Welcome back. Glad to have you join us on Housing TV News at the top of the hour. Now to the build sector. The Nigerian Army has handed over houses to 20 wounded in action soldiers in Abuja as part of its commitment to improving the welfare of its personnel. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, presented the keys to the houses on Wednesday during the commissioning of 400 housing units under the Affordable Home Ownership Option for All Soldiers, Phase 1 in Abuja. In his remarks, the Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa urged other branches of the armed forces to emulate the Nigerian Army by providing housing solutions for personnel. He commended the Affordable Home Ownership Option initiative as a testament to the vision of late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja, who prioritized the welfare of soldiers. General Musa also praised Lieutenant General Oluyede for ensuring the project's continuity and promised further housing development for interested subscribers. Now to Kano State, where the state government has announced January 31st, 2025 as the final deadline for landowners in the state to register or renew their certificates of occupancy, as failure to comply will result in the revocation of land titles. This directive was issued by the Commissioner for Land and Physical Planning, Abdul Jabbar Umar, during a media briefing. He urged all property owners and individuals holding interest in land across the state to visit the Ministry of Land and Physical Planning to rectify their properties before the deadline. The move comes after Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf flagged off the recertification exercise during the recommissioning of the Kano State Geographic Information System building on November 25, 2024. Now, a suspected Boko Haram attack occurred at Dalwa village, located 10 kilometers from Maiduguri along the Dambwa-Molarai road on Monday night. The assailants destroyed several houses under construction by the Borno state government, which were part of a resettlement project for displaced persons. According to intelligence sources, the terrorists entered the village under the cover of darkness and focused their assault on structures meant to house families returning to the region after years of displacement caused by insurgency. Zagazola Mekama, a security analyst, reported that these marked the third attack on the facility within a month, with 2 prior assaults involving improvised explosive devices. In another news, in a heartbreaking turn of events, 32 children lost their lives in a stampede at a fun fair in Ibadan, Oyo State. On Wednesday, the tragedy unfolded at the Islamic High School in Basharun, where an event meant for 5,000 participants saw over 7,500 attendees vying for entry, leading to chaos and fatalities. Eyewitnesses attributed the disaster to poor crowd control and inadequate organization. One witness, devastated by the loss of her child, recounted the overcrowding and confusion that turned a joyous celebration into a nightmare. To wrap up Housing TV news at the top of the hour, on the foreign scene, the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank announced a third interest rate cut today following its December 2024 board meeting. Though most economists had anticipated another cut, Federal Board Chair Jeremy Powell indicated that it was a close call and that 2025 would see a more cautious approach. Inflation and employment have been identified as the top priorities for the Fed, putting focus on the housing market on the back burner. Americans have eagerly awaited relief from exorbitant prices for consumer goods and housing. The board highlights its commitment to lowering inflation to its 2% year-end goal, but many doubt it will achieve that number anytime soon. That's the much we can take on Housing TV news at the top of the hour. Before we go, a quick recap of our top stories. President Tinubu presents 49.7 trillion naira 2025 budget proposal to the National Assembly. Federal government exempts cooking gas importers from duty payment. Attorney General of the Federation to meet Senate panel on tax reform bills. Kano landowners get January deadline to renew certificate of occupancy. And we saw on the foreign scene, the U.S. Federal Chair issues warning on inflation-weak housing market. For more news in the housing sector, subscribe to Housing TV Africa on YouTube and follow Housing TV Africa on all social media platforms. Do not forget to download the Housing TV Africa mobile app to stay connected wherever you go. I am Yumana Bagudu. Thanks for watching.
Visit Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts. On Facebook, Housing TV Africa. On Twitter, Housing TV Africa. Instagram, Housing TV Africa.